Hi folks, I'm recording episode 6 of the 59th minute FPL podcast on Monday night, the 16th of April. I'm just after watching West Ham Stoke, waiting for Arnautovic to score for 90 minutes, which of course he didn't. So another frustrating watch after watching United yesterday as well, with Lukaku captain and David De Gea in goal. So it's been a pretty frustrating couple of days. I'm gonna change things up a wee bit in this one. I'm going to try to keep it short as usual. First of all, I'm going to just jump into the questions I got on Twitter over the last day or two. Go through those quickly. Then I'm going to look at a free hit squad for 35. Now, as most of you know, I don't have my free hit chip, but I'm going to look at a squad for those of you who are on free hit this week, just to give you an idea of what I would be doing if I was using it this week. I'll finish off then by talking about what transfers I'm looking at this week, and I'll look at captaincy as well for Gameweek 35. I'm not going to talk too much about Gameweek 34 because we're only really halfway through it. The double game weekers still have their second game to come, so I'm going to look ahead to 35 rather than talking about 34. All I will say is it's going okay for me, I guess. I'm on about 50 points, I think, after Arnautovic gets his 2 points tonight. And I think I've got 10 players to play again. So overall rank at the moment is around 820th overall. So I'm not really overly confident for the next couple of days. I think there's going to be a lot of rotation. So if I can stay in the top 1000 by the time Game Week 34 ends, I'll probably be pretty happy with that. Almost half of my 50 points came from my Liverpool trio: Van Dijk, Firmino and Salah. So the leaked lineup came out again this week, so that kind of swayed me to because I was going to sell Firmino, but then when I seen that he was starting, there was no way I was going to sell him with Bournemouth at home. So he left it late to get his goal, but obviously I was pretty happy that I held on to three of those. I think they got 22 points between them, so that's why things are going okay for me. Apart from that, I've got absolutely nothing. So hopefully the next few days we can get something, especially hopefully Captain Lukaku can do something, and I'm just hoping Harry Kane stays quiet on Tuesday night. But going by the way my luck's going the last couple of days, he's probably going to score a hat-trick and punish me, but we'll see how things go. So I'm going to jump into the listener questions. I've got probably 6 or 7. I'll just rattle through them as quickly as I can. They cover a broad range of things, so it'll hit the most important points this week. First of all, I'll start with Man City. Got quite a few questions about Man City today and yesterday. They all kind of factor around what's my Man City strategy for the coming game weeks. Now that they're knocked out of the Champions League, the league's won, so obviously they're an attractive option again now for players. We just don't really know what Pep's going to do. For 35 though, I think he's probably going to play a strong side because it's the title winning game, so you would think that most of the big guys will probably start that game and play most of the game. So I'm definitely looking at them this week. I currently don't have any City players, but I'll definitely be getting one at least, I think, this week. Sterling's top of my list. I've been very impressed with him the last couple of weeks, even though he's been very wasteful. But he's getting into the positions and he's getting the chances, and I think if he starts in 35, he can get a big haul against Swansea. As I say, it's hard to know what Pep's going to do. I may end up just going with one City player for now and just monitor 35 and see if he gives any indication of what he's going to do. Obviously, there's a lot of talented young players at City as well that he could look to in the last couple of weeks and give some of the bigger guys a rest, but I think for 35 we should be safe enough, and I think they're a good place to go for people who are on their free hit this week. I'd probably be looking at getting 3 of them in, but I'll talk about that a little bit later when I come to the free hit squad. So the City questions, they were from Planet FPL, from Dan and from Dimas as well. Dimas was just saying how many Man City players, so again, if you're on free hit, they're probably looking at 3, but I'm probably going to look at 1 for Game Week 35, and then I'll see then, probably by 37 I'll have at least 2, I would guess. Next question is from Cameron Khan. He's talking about free hit. Should people fill their bench with the low budget players, the likes of 4 million and 4.5 million players, to focus their budget on this starting 11? So maybe filling your bench with players that don't play, so that you can spread your cash around your starting 11. I don't think that's a good idea. I think we're going to see it this week, and I think we'll see it in 35 as well. There's going to be rotation. We're getting to the end of the season. A lot of clubs have interest in other competitions, Champions League, FA Cup. So I think, especially if you're on a free hit, you don't ignore your bench players, because more than likely 1 or 2 of your free hitters won't show up, and you're going to need your bench players to come in and do a job for you. So I would make sure you have quality on the bench as well. At least your first sub, if not your second sub as well. Someone who can come in and get the points for you in 35, because as I say, there will be rotation. Especially with the likes, a lot of people are going to be getting triple City, triple Liverpool. We don't know if we'll get the league lineup this week or not. You can never trust it 100% anyway. So if you're loading up on Liverpool and City, make sure that you have bench players that can come in, because very high chance that some of those players won't start. Next question from Ricky Saunders. Again, it's a free hit question. Ricky's asking, who are the must-haves for free hit 35? So I've just picked out 3. The obvious one, Salah, if he starts, must-have. Aubameyang, I think, as well, is a must-have. He's been playing very well recently, and obviously we know by now he's not in the Europa League squad, so he should start. Home game against West Ham, so I'd expect him to get something in that. And I sold Aubameyang to get Lukaku in this week, but I'm likely going to reverse that transfer now, so I'm probably going to go Lukaku back to Aubameyang for 35. That was always my plan. Lukaku in for the double game week, and then back out for Aubameyang, because Lukaku blanks and Aubameyang should play for Arsenal against West Ham. And as I say, he's been playing very well. He got an assist again at the weekend. He's been scoring goals, so he seems to have settled well now. So Salah, Aubameyang, 2 must-haves, and I'm gonna throw Sterling in there as the third one. Now again, with City, we don't know who's going to play, but I think Sterling's pretty safe for 35 at least. And as I say, very impressed with him in the last couple of weeks, getting lots of chances, and more than likely he's going to be one of my transfers in this week. So 3 must-haves: Salah, Aubameyang, Sterling. That's the 3 I'm shouting out. Next question is from Ep.6. He's looking for some low budget options with double game week 37 in mind. So looking ahead to game week 37, players maybe that you can bring in now, and they may serve you well down the line in the double game week. Budget options, I've picked out about 5 that I'm interested in. One of them I already have, Arnautovic. He didn't do anything tonight against Stoke, but I still think he's an excellent option as a budget midfielder. He's got a double game week in 37. I'm going to be keeping him for Arsenal in 35 as well. I think he can get something in that one. We know Arsenal aren't very interested in the league anymore, so good chance Arnautovic delivers in that one. And another 2 players I'm looking at with 37 in mind is the Ayew brothers at Swansea, Jordan and Andre. Both really good options, I think. When we get to this point of the season, we need to focus on teams who've got something to play for, and Swansea tick that box. They're fighting for survival, and if they're going to survive, the 2 brothers Andre and Jordan are going to have a say in that. So I don't think there's much between the 2 of them. Obviously Jordan's a little bit cheaper as a third striker, but I think when it comes to it, I might go for Andre. He'd be a nice differential for the last couple of weeks. I've always liked him when it comes to fantasy, but he's been very injury prone over the years, but he's been looking sharp without really getting attacking returns in the last couple of weeks. But as I say, I don't think you can go wrong with either of those 2, and some people will probably end up doubling up on the brothers for 37. I don't think I will, but both good options, and you could even bring them in soon. I'm pretty sure it's Arsenal Swansea in 35. And I mean, they could get something there. I'm wrong there. It's Arsenal West Ham in 35, and it's so it's Man City Swansea in 35. But again, you're probably not expecting much from them in 35, so it might actually be best to wait on the Ayew brothers maybe till 36 onwards. I'm expecting Man City to be in party mode at this weekend, and I still expect them to win comfortably against Swansea. So yeah, going back on that, it's probably best to wait on the Ayew brothers, but both really good options. Another two I'm going to throw in as well, Southampton, another team fighting for their lives. They need results. They've got a double game week coming up. I've got Charlie Austin in my team, and I think he will become a really good option. I'm probably more hopeful than anything with that one because he's in my team. But they just need to start him, and if he starts, he'll get goals. So hopefully we'll see by the time 37 rolls around that Austin hopefully will start both games, and hopefully he'll deliver as well. Cedric's another one. Then Mark Hughes he's been playing with three centre backs, which has allowed Cedric to play in a more of a wing back role. So he's getting forward a lot more, and we've seen him get 2 assists 2 game weeks back. So there's always attacking returns there for Cedric. Probably not expecting many clean sheets from Southampton, but Cedric could be a dark horse for the double game week 37. So that's 5 budget options. The 2 Ayew brothers, Arnautovic, Cedric, and Charlie Austin. Next question from Jay: when and who will be my triple captain? So I've still got my triple captainship left. I'm holding it for double game week 37, and I'm 99% sure it's going to be Harry Kane, because he's got, I think it's West Brom and Newcastle he's got in game week 37. You're just not going to get any better fixtures than that. A West Brom team who are relegated and Newcastle who are safe, so both teams got nothing to play for. Harry Kane's going to want to push Salah all the way for the golden boot, so it's a no-brainer. Triple captain 37 Harry Kane, and I'm very hopeful that he can go big in 37 to give me a big push in the rankings in the last 2 weeks. So triple captain straightforward for me. Anyone, if you've still got it, I think Man City have good fixtures in double game week 37 as well. If Aguero comes back and he looks like he's going to play both games, which probably is going to be impossible to know, but he's probably worth considering as well. And obviously Mo Salah in a single game week, don't rule that out either, because he's probably the best fantasy Premier League player we've ever seen. He's right up there anyway, so he could easily go big again in one of the single game weeks. I know Liverpool have got some good home fixtures between now and the end of the season. It's just the Champions League factor. It's just a bit risky whether he's going to start or not. So it's Harry Kane's a no-brainer for me in 37. Next question is from Jono Forwood. Do I regret playing my free hit early? Good question. I played my free hit in game week 22. I got 71 points from it, which was 23 points better off than if I didn't play it that game week. So I got a good rise that week in the rankings. I went from around 8k to 3k. So at the time I was very happy with how free hit went. It could have went even better. I should have included Mahrez that week, but I remember playing it, I think it was New Year's Day, very hungover. I had about 40 minutes to put it together, and in hindsight I should have put Mahrez in, which would have made it even better, but I was quite happy with how free hit went. And again, I can't really judge it probably until the end of the season, and maybe compare it to what other people got from it and things like that. But for me to get 23 points better off that week than if I didn't play it, I was pretty happy. Again, as I say, I got a nice jump in the rankings. So no, I would say I don't regret playing it, especially the way you look at double game weeks like this one, how it's going so far, and all the big guns are not doing anything so far. So I mean, I've seen people playing free hit this week in double game week 34, and it's been an absolute nightmare for them. Some people are getting around 70 or 80 points. If they didn't play the free hit, they would have got 70 or 80 points, and their free hit team's only on 25, 30 points. So an absolute nightmare for some managers this week, but very hard to foresee that coming. But the straight answer to the question, do I regret playing it early? No, I don't. It has made things quite tricky planning wise for the last couple of weeks, but I think I'm in good shape. The double game week 34 is going okay for me so far. I'm in good shape for 35. I've got 8 blank players already, and I've got 2 free transfers, so I can get to 10 without hits. I may get to take a hit to get to 11. Obviously I need a lot of my players to play, so I've got a lot of Liverpool players, so I really need them to play in 35, which I'll talk a little bit later when it comes to transfers and things like that. But hopefully I'm going to be okay for 35, and I won't lose rank too much against those who are free hitting around me. Next question is from Sid. Sid asks 2 questions. First one is, apart from 3 Liverpool and 3 Man City, who should we be looking at for game week 35? So I'm going to leave that one for a second, because I'm going to come to the free hit squad that I put together today next. So Sid's second question was, if Salah doesn't start, which I'm hoping he does, but if he doesn't, who should be captain in game week 35? So I think there's three options here. So Salah obviously is number 1 if he plays. If he doesn't, I'm probably going to be looking at Aubameyang again. I captained him 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and he did the business, he scored, so I'm probably going to look at him if Salah doesn't play. And a third option then, I'd probably be looking at a Man City player, a midfielder probably, and I said Sterling's my preference, just going by the last couple of weeks. So again, I wouldn't feel comfortable going into 35 captaining a City player, but if you're willing to take the risk on someone like Sterling, or maybe even Silva or De Bruyne, even Jesus, if Aguero's not back, that could pay off, because I think City will score a couple against Swansea. So that's the captaincy options covered. So back to Sid's question about who should we look at for 35. That brings me nicely into the free hit team that I put together this evening. So again, I don't have a free hit, but this is just, I know a lot of people are using free hit this week, so this is just to give an idea of what I would do if I still had it. Now, I put this together in about 5 minutes. I didn't put any major thought into it. I didn't do any major tinkering. I just filled the squad with the first 15 names that came to mind and that were under budget. So I'll just rattle it off. I think I went for a 3-5-2 free hit squad. Ederson in goal. I think he should start this weekend. He should be pretty safe, and I would expect a clean sheet from City. So I would probably avoid the City defenders and just go for Ederson. It's hard to predict who's going to play in defence. Walker's probably safe, but he's quite expensive. So Ederson in goal. I'll name the 11 first, and then I'll talk a little bit about it. So Ederson in goal, Seamus Coleman, Virgil van Dijk, and Mustafi in defence. 5 midfielders: Mo Salah, Raheem Sterling, David Silva, Arnautovic, and Wilfred Zaha. And up front, Aubameyang and Firmino. And then on the bench, I've got Hennessy, and then 3 Burnley lads, so Loughton, Tarkowski, and Chris Wood. So as I say, I put this together very quickly. There's a couple of factors here to consider. Obviously, I've named 3 Liverpool players there: Salah, Firmino, and Van Dijk. All eyes are going to be on Anfield Express Twitter account on Friday night and Saturday morning again. It's been very helpful the last 2 weeks. Liverpool are a team we kind of need to know who's going to play before the deadline, because it influences what we do with our transfers then. So hopefully we get that news again this week. And obviously if Firmino or Salah or Van Dijk don't play, then obviously that free hit squad will have to change. But Van Dijk's in there probably because I've owned him the last couple of weeks, and I still feel we're going to get a goal or 2 from him before the end of the season. So I do think he's worth putting in there, even though he's more expensive from the likes of Robertson. And even I've seen people considering Alexander-Arnold. They're all good options, but my preference is always Van Dijk, just for the goal threat. Seamus Coleman. Everton are a team I'm not looking at whatsoever, because they're on the beach. Big Sam has no interest. He's been in there to keep them up. Job's done. they've no interest for the rest of the season. But if I had a free hit, I do think Seamus Coleman is worth a punt. Everton, I'm just going to double check the fixtures. Everton, I think, are at home to Newcastle. So good chance of a clean sheet. And Coleman, just from watching Match of the Day the last 2 weeks, Coleman has been getting chances. He's come very close to scoring both weeks. So we know what he can do in an attacking sense. So even if Everton don't get a clean sheet, Coleman can get you a goal or an assist. So I do think he's worth a punt for the free hit. He's definitely worth considering at least. Mustafi then is in there as well. Arsenal, I'd be quite reluctant to go to Arsenal at all apart from Aubameyang really, because we know they're focusing on Europa League, so any other players could be rotated. Mustafi, I don't think, even though Mustafi hasn't missed a game in the last couple of weeks, that doesn't mean he's nailed on to play in 35, but he does look to be the safest of the back of the Arsenal defence. So if I was going there, Mustafi would be the one I would get, and I would probably just leave it at 2 Arsenal players, Mustafi and Aubameyang. Midfield then, as I mentioned a few times already, Sterling's my Man City preference. David Silva then, he's been immense this season, and I think he's someone who will definitely play this weekend. Just what he's been through with his little kid being born premature and everything else. If anyone deserves a party this weekend, it's David Silva. I mean, he turned up every week when he was available and put in 10 out of 10 performances week after week, despite everything that was going on in his personal life. And as a United fan, it was very hard to watch. Obviously, it's going to be hard to watch City win the title, but David Silva is more deserving than anyone after what he's been through this season. So I think Silva's a good option for 35. I think he'll play. He's been delivering as well, so he could easily go big again. Arnautovic, I just think Arnautovic is an excellent FPL option. I would keep him in a free hit squad, even though it's Arsenal. We've seen what Arsenal have been like in recent weeks, getting beat by Newcastle at the weekend, conceding twice. Don't see them keeping a clean sheet against West Ham, so I'm quite hopeful that Arnautovic will get something in 35. So I would keep him if I was free hitting. Zaha then he's been superb. I think he's got 3 goals in his last 2 games. He's been playing up front, basically for Palace recently in the absence of Benteke and Sorloth. So if he remains out of position, I think Palace have Watford in 35. So really good option. And then Aubameyang, Firmino up front. So that is what I would be looking at the moment if I was free hitting. Obviously, it's only Monday now, so things can change between now and Friday. Obviously, there's still a lot of games to be played. Injuries, we might get team news before the deadline with Liverpool, so there's no point stressing too much about your free hit. I would just leave it till Friday, because so much is going to change. There's no point tinkering too much until you've got all the information you need. So I mentioned I had the 3 Burnley players on the bench: Loughton, Tarkowski and Chris Wood. So Chris Wood would probably be my first sub. He's even worth considering starting. He's been in great form. Burnley have Stoke in 35, so Chris Wood could easily score again against Stoke. Stoke are not up to much. They weren't great against West Ham tonight. Again, back to the important point, make sure you have 1 or 2 players at least on your bench that can come in and do a job for you, because we will see rotation in 35, and Chris Wood's a good example of that as a first sub. If the likes of Firmino, Salah don't turn up, Chris Wood can come in and do a job for you. And even the Burnley defenders as well, they're always good for a clean sheet. Haven't been keeping many recently, but they are capable of clean sheets, especially against someone like Stoke who don't score many goals. I'm just going to throw in 3 more players that I didn't include in the free hit that you should consider as well. So maybe if you don't have the cash for Zaha, Milivojevic, you can't really go wrong with him. He's been a pain this season if you didn't own him. He delivers almost every week. I think he's got 10 goals now, which is crazy. And then he got 2 assists at the weekend. Pretty sure it was his first 2 assists of the season as well. I haven't owned him all season, and he's been just a nightmare. He's hurt my rank numerous occasions with rivals around me owning him. So he's one to consider as well. Shaqiri's another one. So Stoke need a win against Burnley. He didn't do an awful lot against West Ham tonight, but he did end up with an assist. So there's always potential there for Shaqiri. He's key to the Stoke team. If they're going to get a result, you'd fancy him to be involved in the goal. So he's worth considering as well. And another one is Aguero. So Aguero and Jesus. I included Ederson, Sterling and Silva as my 3 City players in this example. But if Aguero's fit, you need to consider him as well. And if Aguero's ruled out, I would definitely go for Jesus then. If it looks like he's going to start. So that's what I would do if I was free hitting. I wish I did have free hit because it looks quite nice. But as I say, I'm hoping I'm going to survive 35 okay. I think I can do all right against those who are free hitting this week. I've got most of the players who people are going to be bringing in anyway. So hopefully things go okay for me. Before I wrap things up, transfers and captain. So I already mentioned captaincy options. So Salah if he plays, Aubameyang if he doesn't, and City are worth considering as well for captaincy this weekend. But for me, if Salah plays, it's going to be him, and vice captain will be Aubameyang, just in case Salah doesn't play. I've got 2 free transfers now. As I say, it's only Monday, so I haven't thought too much about it. But if the game week was starting tomorrow, what I would do with my 2 free transfers would be probably Mahrez out for Raheem Sterling and Lukaku out for Aubameyang. So that would bring me to 10 blank game weekers. Obviously I say 10, but with rotation that could easily only be 7 or 8. So I'm definitely going to look at taking a couple of hits maybe this week, but I'm not going to think about too much about that until 35, until things are clearer after press conferences, and I get an idea of how many I'm actually going to have for 35. So I'm definitely going to probably take at least 1 points hit, if not 2. So keep an eye on my Twitter account at FPL General on Friday, and I'll give some more information about that. I've been playing around this week as well with YouTube, and I'm considering doing a live YouTube stream on Friday night. I'm thinking more ahead to next season. I would like to start getting into the live streams on YouTube. I love what Andy does on YouTube, and if you haven't watched Andy's YouTube videos at Let's Talk FPL, you definitely should. So that would be the idea. I'm looking to do some of that next season, and I may do it 1 or 2 between now and the end of the season just to get my head around it all. So I'm hoping maybe to try one on Friday night at about 9 o'clock hopefully. But I'll stick that on Twitter if it goes ahead. So if it does go ahead, come tune in, and I'll let you know exactly what I'm doing then for Gameweek 35, and you can ask me your questions on that as well. And we'll obviously know a lot more by Friday night as well. I'm going to wrap it up. Coming up to about a half an hour, I think. I don't think there's anything else left to cover. If you're on free hit this week, my advice would be just chill out until Friday. There's no point tinkering because there's a lot of football to be played. We'll surely get some indications and press conferences on Thursday and Friday of what managers are thinking for this weekend, and hopefully, fingers crossed, especially for me who doesn't have a free hit, I'm dependent on my Liverpool players playing in Game Week 35, so whether they play or not, I really need news before the deadline from Anfield Express. I need a leaked lineup to give me an idea of what's happening with Liverpool this weekend, because that'll determine what I do with my transfers. Because if the likes of Firmino and Van Dijk and even Salah look like they're not going to play, I'll be looking to move them on, so that'll change my plans completely. So fingers crossed we get something. So again, if there's no news Friday night, like I did just at the weekend there, I'm just going to hold off on my transfers until Saturday morning. Just leave it as late as possible to see if any news comes through, because as I say, that would change everything for me because I don't have a free hit. So good luck for Game Week 35. Good luck if you're on free hit. I hope you nail it, but I hope I do even better somehow without the free hit. If you enjoyed the podcast, give it a like, give it a share, give it a retweet. Any feedback's always welcome. Again, this is only episode 6. Again, I'm gearing towards next season and developing the podcast next season into something bigger and better with guests and things like that. But all feedback is always welcome. So good luck for Gameweek 35, and enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll talk to you next week. Cheerio.